T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? I thought I gave everybody enough notice. I posted the stream 2 days ago and kind of made sure to repost. Welcome to Little Mama's channel. I am your co-host and your channel mascot, OSB. Just figured I would step on through and let's just kind of have us a Monday mashup where we talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything. On topic, off topic, doesn't matter. So how is everybody's Monday kicking off? Real talk. Let's hear it. Anybody do anything interesting today? Grateful Life, I see you there. Thank you for showing up and welcome. I'm still trying to deal with some logistics here and kind of give people a minute to come on through. Hopefully we'll get some more folks talking here. So, okay. Just to kind of hit some of the high points here on the stuff that I've kind of kept up with the last couple of days because, you know, I've been kind of out and about and all over the place. I did listen to the ALR and Destiny conversation, and there has been some stuff that has jumped out at me that I haven't heard anybody else really bring up thus far. So I just figured I would throw these out there and see what you guys think. Destiny was 100% correct, I think, when she flat out told ALR that she is a manipulative person. There's no question on that. She manipulates everybody, her audience, her significant others, their families, pretty much anybody that she can utilize that toward for her benefit, she does. Another thing that I've noticed too is that Amber has a tendency to be highly disrespectful to the parents, especially the mothers of their significant others. We've seen that with Destiny. We've seen that with Becky. I mean, I don't know if it was caught on tape with her being that way with Crystal's mother, but it would surprise me if she weren't. But I'm curious to see with Feline being an African-American woman, whether or not that sort of behavior is actually going to fly with her. Whereas, you know, it didn't with Becky and Destiny, you know, not to be disparaging of either of them, but let's be realistic here. Neither of them really are very strong characters in relation to Backbone. So it doesn't really surprise me that sort of behavior was allowed to go on. I do think some of it too, though, is the fact that, you know, they were sort of a little beholden to her. And I don't even really see how that matters, but, you know, that was their bed. They made it and they laid in it. I did find it very, very funny that she had the gall to say I never thought you were a bad person, but I guess you are, and I think you are. But then proceeded to stay on the phone with her for an hour and laughed and cut up with her. Um, Anybody that you generally see as a bad person is not somebody you're gonna want to sit there and interact with, especially not laugh and cut up and kiki. So that didn't none of that made any sense to me. Um, there was a whole lot of gaslighting in that entire stream in that phone call between the two of them. It was readily evident um, with the um, you're grown, you need to wake up and use your brain. Anybody who has a set of eyes who's actively watched the things that Amber has shown people out here on the internet can readily see the fact that a lot of the stuff that Destiny is portraying is simply reaffirming the things that we already know because we see it. We have eyeballs. I don't even know why she's trying to play this game, but that's pretty standard narc behavior. And I really sincerely believe that she may very well have some BPD going on based on the traits that she shows. The biggest one being that she works so hard to control a narrative that she herself has created for people past the end of her nose, but she wants to get gung-ho and upset when people don't fall in line and see things the way that she does, which is absolutely skewed. I mean, we've seen time and time again that, who Amber is, but it was absolutely confirmed on this phone call. This whole Valley Girl in and everything, and her raising the ends of her of every word and trying to portray herself as someone she's not versus what we saw and heard on that phone call. We can tell which one is the facade and which one is not. So, I mean, I don't even know why she bothers. But this is the first time in a long time that she has actually given a full, unveiling of her as herself. So, of course, she's upset. Of course, she feels betrayed. Of course, she's playing the woe is me, I was deceived thing because now that she has gone and back and watched it, and have no doubt she has, if not more than once, she's actually horrified probably at what she has seen watching herself. So, but the fact is that is who she is. The only reason that I think that it's not so readily evident is the fact that she works so hard to take on other people's personalities because she doesn't have any of her own. That was pretty well observed when she was with Becky. When she took on the whole, I'm a twangy Southern girl, blah, 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 and which we know she's not, has not been, nor ever will be, as somebody who's Southern. Her making an attempt to try to sound Southern was incredibly cringe. As to the current wifey situation, her taking on the AAV vernacular has seriously turned my stomach. Boo boo, a lot of that stuff that you're saying, a lot of the terminology you're using is not meant for you, is not made for you. You need to stop. The fact that you are with a Black woman does not give you a free pass to act a fool. Grateful Life, I do agree 100%. Let me highlight you here. I do agree 100%. I was working my way to that. I kind of had a running list of stuff that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned. That's a big one though. That whole, I know plenty of things about you and your family, but I'm not going to spill it because I'm not that person. You are absolutely that person. The difference is instead of just outing with it, like Destiny's been doing, outing what she knows and saying what she's going to say. Instead, she's trying to utilize it as you don't do this because if you do, I'm going to say what I know about you. It's subtle manipulation. It's a not so subtly veiled threat is what that is, which is really kind of sad because, I mean, Destiny has owned everything in relation to her side of this entire predicament. Which is great. I mean, that's a sign of true adult maturity being developed there. She has come out and said, yes, I talked to this girl. Yes, I thought about sleeping with her. No, it didn't happen. Yes, I talked to Dana. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. She even did it in this video where the two of them are talking on the phone, fully admitted, saying, yes, I said, this is what I said. I told them that didn't happen. It says a lot more to the credibility of Destiny than it does to ALR. Yet again, not that we didn't already know. Let's see. The whole comment about apathetic facts saying that that apathetic facts needs to make her own content is really quite rich coming from ALR, since she steals content ideas from people on TikTok and runs with it like it's hers. She does something and then tries to make it seem like it's hers. And then when people ask, bro, where'd that come from? Oh, it was this girl on TikTok, blah, 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 blah. But this is a fairly common running trend for ALR. I think we know this. And, I was actually given, and this is going to sound like me being shallow or conceited, but we already know that ALR watches everything that mentions her name in any shape, manner, fashion, or form. But I now have what I feel like would be a confirmation that she's actually watching me now too. Hi, Amber. Nobody believes you, boo-boo. And I say that simply because now all of a sudden that this weight loss surgery plan is kind of off and she doesn't want to talk about it and whatever. And her new plan is to do intermittent fasting. As anybody who's been around this channel for a little bit of time will know, that is something that I have been doing since almost the very first video uploaded on my channel. And I've had an upload within the last week or so talking about the fact that I am on intermittent fasting, showing what I eat in a day, breaking down the time frame that I am fasting for, which is actually 16 and 8. Now, here's where the caveat with ALR comes into play. Number one, this one has only done intermittent fasting one time. Okay. That was 4 years ago. She did it for 3 days and she failed. And she actually gained weight while she did it. So there's no way in the world. No way in the world. And I say that mainly because somebody with disordered eating like Amber, it would be virtually impossible for her to go 16 hours fasting, even if she slept 12 hours of it. So for her, the most recent upload was, oh, well, I slept for 7 hours. And then I woke up at this time, and then I waited 3.5 hours or 6 hours before I broke my fast, and then I didn't eat for 3.5 hours before I went to bed. There is no way in hell. No way in hell. You did not go from the starting point to you fasting 16 and 8. It is not humanly possible unless you are one of those people who just are, outright capable because you don't have disordered eating. And I say that as somebody who used to have disordered eating, that I have gotten therapy for it. I have recovered from it. I don't have any of the disordered eating behaviors that I used to carry. And even me, with a regimented diet in place where I was eating consistently nothing but protein all day long, it was stretched out over 12 hours. So going from eating every couple of hours, a little bit at the time, to fasting for 16 hours a day, it took time, it took effort, it took work, because you are going to be a miserable human being if you go from eating at a normal rhythm, pace, amount, whatever you want to slice it up to be, to a full-on 16 and 8 with no buffer, with no buildup. you are going to be a miserable freaking human being. And here we are, we're 3 days in, and I feel so great, and I'm so proud of myself, and blah, 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 blah. See, Grateful Life, you get it. And what ends up happening? First 4 hours, you get up, you're moving around, you're by that point, you're hungry. By the time you get to a point where you can actually break your fast, you can be a grumpy human being. And here she is, she's on camera telling me, oh, well, I need to plan what I'm going to have, and then I need to make what I'm going to have, and this and that, and yo, I feel so good, I feel so great, and blah, 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 blah. It is really, really hard to take her BS seriously. Which, all of that being said, I take a step back to where I was at before, where I do seriously seem to think that this is kind of a caveat that she started watching my channels too, because I talk about her. Because the girl has nothing but free time on her hands. She's incredibly vain. She wants to hear what people say about her, even if she doesn't like it. And then she steals mercilessly because she has no creativity or personality of her own. So it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But I will say this, her talking about people creating their own content, I'm going to just kind of throw this out here for ALR because I know she's watching. Hi, Amber. Hi, Amber. Okay, boo-boo. So you may have stole that little 16 and 8 intermittent fasting thing. That's all well and fine. That's cool. Do you. You're going to fail at it because there's no way you're actively doing it, especially since you've already admitted you've gained weight over the last 3 days. So there's that. And I'm going to throw this out there too, Miss. People need to create their own content. I would love to see you try to steal any of the other content that I've got on my page, honey. I would love to see you outside shoveling rocks. I would love to see you in a room with a 2200 degree furnace. I would love to see you try it. Let's see it. You, the queen of content. You are Miss Amberlyn Reed. Let's see you leave the house and actively do something for a change. Until that happens, you cannot be holding discussion about anybody else and what they choose to do on their channels, even if it's talking about you. So there, I've said that. I do want to add, let me find it. This whole conversation from today's video about the whole being misdiagnosed, and now I've got this lung issue and nobody wants to listen to me.
So as you guys remember last year, like I went through this whole lung thing where I got so many different diagnoses, is that a word? Who knows? These are the ones I got. Cancer was thrown around a lot by professionals. That wasn't a diagnosis, but it was thrown around, so that freaked me out, obviously, because I've had cancer before. Collapsed lung. Then it was an impartial collapsed lung. Blood clot, or several blood clots. Fluid on my lung. Fluid on the outside of my lung. And pneumonia. So all of those things can't be happening at once. I mean, who knows? They could be. But they were all, like, diagnosed.
Okay. Hi, Learning to Live. Welcome. Okay, I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing a trickle. I don't know exactly who else might be live right now or who might have been live that everybody's leaving, but well, that's the thing. That's the thing right now. Learning to Live. I was actually saying that I actually feel like Amber has started watching my channel now, mainly because ALR hasn't done anything related to fasting since like 4 years ago, and she only did it for 3 days and she failed. The other thing too, which I kind of lend her to, that lend me to believe that she's watching me now, since I do talk about her, is the fact that I had a video up within the last week or so that talked about intermittent fasting, showing what I ate in a day, when I stopped my fast, when I started my fast, and exactly how much weight that I'm down now, which is something like 36 and some change in pounds since the end of January. But realistically, I was also calling her out on the fact that there's no way. No question. But I have no doubt whatsoever that there's no way in hell that she's actually doing the 16 and 8 fasting schedule that she's claiming to be doing, because she has a problem with disordered eating. It's well documented. She's admitted it. So there's no way that you're going to go from being a disordered eater like that to going on a full 16-hour fast. Like I said, I carried a very regimented type of eating schedule before I went into intermittent fasting. I'm a post-gastric bypass patient of 20 years. I would literally eat a little something every 2 hours over the course of like 10 or 12 hours. And real talk, I mean, it was very trying to back myself down to, okay, I'm going to fast for 12 hours. Okay. Now I'm going to fast for 13 hours. Now I'm going to fast for 14. Right. Exactly. The other thing that leads me to believe that there's no way in the world that Amber is actively following this fasting schedule, because if she's actively doing an 1,800 calorie deficit cap with a 16 and 8 intermittent fasting schedule, there's no way in the world that she would have gained weight over a 3-day period. Just not. I mean, I lost 6 pounds in the first week, and that was with me backing down. Okay, 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. And that was, I mean, it takes exactly. Yes. 100%. Girl, hey, you let that arrow go and it nailed it. Hit the target 100%. You getting me. You're getting me. See, you feel me? That they are absolutely not willing to put in the effort, which is the other reason why, too, I said at the beginning, when this whole conversation about weight loss surgery came in with Amber, that there is no way in the world she will ever actually get this done. Because they require you to make a specific, really? Well, I can't really have, okay. Because of having weight loss surgery, I have the end results of what's called dumping syndrome. It'll give you palpitations. It'll make you nauseous. Sometimes it'll make you throw up. It'll give you, cold sweats, stuff like that. It's generally miserable feeling. And I literally kind of have to stay away from pretty much any and all type of sugar, whether it's natural or not natural. Hi, Fiona's mama. Hey, totally fine. You made it. That's what matters. Welcome. We're just sitting here just kind of talking generalities about these lolcows that we've been kind of having conversations and about as of late. If she did, she could have had issues, exactly. So, yeah, that's 100%. 100%. And I mean, and I say that, say it again for the people in the back. Holler it out for the cheap seats, because that's exactly what needs to happen. And that's another thing that I've been saying in videos and stuff, where I have actually said stuff about ALR and about foodie. And I actually brought in Hungry Fat Chicken in this most latest video, talking about her. Realistically, especially with ALR and her trying so stinking hard to try to push her getting weight loss surgery until she gets herself situated in relation to her mental issues, it is never going to happen. I can 100% agree on that, but we already know that these, especially these two, especially ALR and Foodie, the two of them do not see anything wrong with their behavior, and they think they're smarter than everybody in the room, and it doesn't matter who. I mean, let's be realistic here. ALR actually had it in her mind that she was going to talk this surgeon into seeing things her way. Which, I'm not going to lie to you, it pissed me off a little bit because, number one, these people who you are seeking to downplay in their knowledge not only have the book knowledge, but they have the applicable experience, years upon years upon years. Their name, when they do surgery, is forever attached to you. Forever. You are an example of their work. And even if you're a fuck up and you ruin your progress and you mess it up, it still doesn't change the fact that they're the ones that put you under the knife and completed your surgery. Yeah, her in the kitchen was, yes, I did. And, yes, I did. And I'm going to be honest with you. It does not surprise me. But I also talk about, too, that there is quite a bit, I believe, of edema, just overall edema in her body, which could account for some of the swelling in her abdomen, which kind of gives her a barrel shape like she is. Because you notice up here is kind of small. Sorry, I didn't mean to grab my boob, but up here is kind of small. And all of this is huge and bulbous and protruding. And anytime she's put her hand on her belly, she doesn't appear to have any give when she touches herself. Her belly looks as though it's kind of rigid. So I honestly believe that there is fluid buildup there, which doesn't surprise me given her medical history and the fact that she does not follow any sort of diet that's relayed to her that's necessary. She actually doesn't follow any medical advice at all. So, I mean, it's kind of a moot point. Yes, very stiff, very rigid. You could probably bounce a quarter off of her belly and, I mean, it's that she has the appearance of it being solid almost. But now that we've started that, I'm going to track on over into Foodie because I had a whole little jot of notes on Foodie too to kind of deal with to kind of keep track of my thoughts because I'll be watching and then I'll say stuff and sometimes I'll post it on Twitter so that, just because I'm like, I got to say this. And then there's other times where I'll just kind of jot it down because if I don't, someone says she looks like her eyes are yellow. Have you noticed that? Yes, she does have a little bit of a jaundicey kind of tinge to her eyes, which is not good. It's not good at all. I mean, in concert with the other medical issues that she's got, it's a very scary, scary thing for her. And ideally, I feel bad for her family, to have to go through everything they're going to have to go through to get her body back if something doesn't happen with some sort of quickness. Let me see what I've got here. On the whole, BBJ rehash where she threw a temper tantrum and she talked about how much she loved BBJ and how well she took care of her and this and that and so on and so forth. Here's the thought process I have on all of that. Have fun with your chores. You can always kind of pop through as you see fit. We're not going anywhere. Not anytime soon, I hope. I agree, but I'm really thinking more to them and not to her. On the whole BBJ situation, her talking about how much she loved BBJ and Sam and this and that and whatever. Animal hoarders love the animals that they hoard. Okay. They have a mental connection with those animals. It does not make anything less. It doesn't downplay what they have done that qualifies that treatment of those animals as abuse. And the same would apply to Foodie. You can say you love them. You can tell them they're the sweetest angel of the 127th degree. It doesn't matter. You can sing songs to them. You can put them in any video you like. It is your treatment of those animals that dictates whether or not you are abusive, not how well you use them to your benefit. Okay. I have seen actual animal hoarders who lose their ever-loving shite and go into a full-on grief response, having animals removed from their care who are in a dire physical situation because they cannot bear to be without them because they love them. So I do not accept that I love them and I put them in videos and I sang to them and talked to them and did whatever with them. I don't accept that as any sort of retort to the things that have been found with BBJ and with Sam. Overall, the entire community, and dear God, me especially at this point, I am so sick of hearing about the whole situation. Her flower love. The two of them are ideally perfectly matched to each other because they're both mentally stunted. There's no question about that at all. It is to me too, and I will never really understand why it is that people, if they love animals the way that they do, why is it they would subject them to the environment and the long-term physical aspects of them being hoarded like that? I mean, I've seen animals with respiratory issues that have had to be put down because they were living in houses with 30 other cats and with feces and urine everywhere, and the ammonia levels literally causing them such drastic respiratory distress, especially with long-term exposure. It's very sad. Ideally, this whole situation with BBJ, though, she needs to just accept it, move on, and understand that her attempt to rewrite a well-documented history online of the things that she's done is just flat not going to work. It's just not. And it doesn't matter how many new people she gets to that channel, which obviously is not many because her numbers really don't fluctuate like that. None of it is ever going to change. All it's going to take is one search in between her live streams or her video uploads or whatever the crap, and people will have a full view of exactly who Foodie is. Add to it the fact that she continues to actively exhibit behaviors that she is trying to lambaste other people for. I mean, I'm not trying to say that FFG is a perfect human being by any stretch of the imagination, but FFG is exactly who she is. She has put that on full display. She does smoke in the house. She does smoke weed around the animals. But that does not make it equivalent to anything that Foodie has done. Not even close, in my opinion. I mean, ideally at this point, I mean, she needs to stop trying to deflect by using FFG as some method to fight off the people in her chats or people at reaction channels chats or just anybody who says anything is, well, what about FFG? Nah, boo-boo, we're not talking about FFG. We're talking about you. Stop trying to deflect. Don't matter how many animals you buy. Julia's not going to do it. Howie's not going to do it. Either own it and change or shut up. Those are your options because the entire community is sick of hearing it. Oh, the whole situation still on BBJ and the FFG deal. She can say all day long that she is going to retrieve paperwork from her vet and that she's going to retrieve the paperwork from animal control saying that she is not an abusive person to her animals. And and that she's going to do whatever means absolutely nothing. And I say that because I have said it in a prior video where I've made it abundantly clear, not trying to be ugly, but and I've met many of them, and they're very nice guys and gals. But to be an animal control specialist, all you really need is simply to have a high school diploma. You get hands-on training. That's basically it. Any court, whether it be small claims court, whether it be a criminal court, whether it be, anything, it doesn't really matter which avenue you take. Any court system is going to take the word over a licensed veterinarian over that of animal control specialists reports any day of the week. That's just the way it goes. And despite how much she wants to be able to hang her hat on that, that is just not going to work. Let's see. They absolutely are. So that's what I got on those two. So let me see. Let me think. I don't know if any of you that are in here have watched any of the other videos that I've uploaded over this last week. I went to dinner with my dad, who kind of played a bait and switch with me after I agreed to go to dinner and kind of forced me to meet my new step monster, who he's going to be marrying Friday. That did not really go as I'd hoped. I was really kind of neutral going in on this situation with her. Well, I'll rephrase. I was neutral toward her. I have been very anti-wedding since the beginning, especially since he has only known her for 6 months. I don't feel like he knows her well enough to be able to say that he wants to marry her. And that's just how I see it. But I was being very neutral in relation to her specifically because I did not know her. But she has kind of already skewed my thinking about her because of the situation and conversations that took place while at dinner. I don't get why she thinks it's no issue. They told her to clean. I'd be mortified. The woman doesn't have any shame, Fiona's mom. I mean, let's be realistic. We're talking about somebody who has literally vomited on camera, who has shat herself on camera. I'm a firm believer at this point that she actually enjoys being shamed, that she enjoys disgusting people. So, of course, this sort of behavior would not be a surprise. Man, I don't know what the deal is here, but there's only 6 of y'all here. It wasn't like that the last time. Well, the 6 of y'all that I got in here, how's y'all's Monday gone so far? I would love to know. I would love to know how y'all's day went. I mean, ideally, when I kind of set this whole thing up, I was really kind of hoping to be able to have like a whole back and forth with you guys, and maybe even let some of you guys come up and talk if y'all are brave enough to join me on StreamYard. I mean, I am 100% down. Absolutely. Any that you like. I will do my best to give you an educated opinion. What you got, Fiona's mom? What you doing? What doing? What doing? Huh? What doing? Hi. Ma'am, I'm just going to change this to Little Mama's channel. I'm going to change it to Little Mama's channel. I'm the mascot on her. I'm the mascot on her. What are you doing? You going to pick a spot, huh? You going to pick a spot? I love you. You're a sweet girl. Okay, so real quick. Come over here. I'm having a medical branch ablation tomorrow. Your thoughts? Well, what specifically do you want to know? As to whether or not I would have that done if I were presented with it? I mean, like all procedures, there is always going to be a level of possible adverse outcomes. I mean, but I mean, ideally, realistically, like a bundle block like that, for the most part, generally have good outcomes. I mean, from what I gather too, learning to live, what that is they apply an injectable anesthetic to a nerve along the spine to help kind of temporarily halt pain signals from traveling to relieve pain in that area. I mean, actually, it's funny that you even bring that up, because my neighbor, who I've mentioned before in videos and everything, he is actually due to have something similar. And he's been going through the process of doing all of his testing, x-rays and MRIs and stuff like that. But from what his physician told him, they actually have a pretty decent rate of success. And he's actually kind of looking forward to it. I mean, I do not. I mean, I can't really give you statistics on it, because you're right. I mean, it's a relatively new sort of procedure, and the effectiveness is going to be individual, based on level of recovery time and how thoroughly you follow instructions that are issued by your provider on aftercare and everything. But the fact that, if you're obviously having chronic pain problems, then, I mean, this may very well benefit you, which might be part of the reason why they're probably recommending it, especially if it hasn't responded to other things, like PT and, anti-inflammatory medications and stuff like that. The upswing, though, is from what I'm seeing, because I won't tell you no lie, I had to pull out one of my nursing books on this. I mean, ideally, from what I saw when I skimmed through, I mean, usually it only takes one treatment and you're pretty well fixed up. So, I mean, maybe it'll work for you. I sincerely hope it does, so that you can get back to feeling good again. Yes, it is. And the crazy thing is that, okay, well, see, then that might explain why it is that they bypassed it like that. Because if you do have, you know, you do have that going on, then it does kind of tie their hands a little bit, you know. So, I mean, it sounds like they're handling things appropriately and recommending the best course of treatment and everything, taking into consideration your medical history and, you know, issues that are actively present that could cause you complications. So I would say trust the process at this point. Give it a try. I mean, the worst case scenario is that it only lasts for 6 months or so. But that's 6 months pain free, where you're able to get up and move around and do whatever you need to do, you know, and at least have some level of comfort, which, you know, is absolutely better than the alternative. You know what I mean? Let me make sure. Oh, good. I mean, that's really not necessary, you know. That is, it is very, very, a lot of people don't really think so, because you're talking, you know, organ issues, but it is actually very painful. And I've brought that up, you know, when I have talked about Foodie's issues, because her diabetes are rearing their ugly head right now, and they're tearing up her kidneys and her eyes and some other things. Me too. And I didn't really cover her lungs, you know, in relation to the video that I did about her, mainly because I wanted to focus on how the diet is going to the carnivore diet is going to directly affect her current health status. But I do believe that she probably has some COPD, or some emphysema going on, based on how she sounds when she breathes. You know, obviously without auscultation, being able to put a stethoscope to her and actively listen, that's kind of where my mind goes to. It really does. And I'm in agreement on that. And that is something that I said in the video that I did to her, that I am 100% behind her doing, taking the opportunity to try to recover her life, and get herself back on track, and to be able to have a fulfilling life from this point forward, because she deserves that. You know, she's a very, very sweet lady. Well, hello, Jennifer. How you doing? May I ask your opinion on why Foodie can't let BBJ issue go? How many times has she said she would not talk about it, but is fixated on this issue? Well, if you'll think about it, what else has she got to focus on? She can't actively get on stream and rage about Sala and the things that she may feel like he's not doing, because it makes her look ungrateful. It creates problems between him and her, and she can't go anywhere. She can't really focus on Nodder and go back and forth at it with him, because he's pretty much kind of stopped talking about her for the most part. So she has nothing to latch on to. So that leaves ultimately FFG, which we know that she absolutely despises. And I mean, prior to her taking BBJ out of this abusive situation, what ended up happening? What did Foodie harp on in relation to FFG before this BBJ situation? The fashion show. And it was round and round and round. The fashion show, the fashion show. She came to my fashion show. She's a stalker. She's a stalker. She came to my fashion show. But the situation, it is simply something to give her an outlet for her aggression, because despite how much she says how happy her life is and how great her marriage is, her behavior is not coinciding with the things that she's doing. A happy person doesn't come online and rage at other people. A happy person doesn't go around insulting other people and trying to make others miserable. A happy person does not try to disrupt the relationships of the people around them. If anything, they try to support them and encourage them. Ideally, I mean, mind you, I don't know Foodie, but I've dealt with plenty enough people like Foodie. And she's miserable. That's just one way to look at it. She's miserable, and misery loves company. Oh yeah, no question. No question. And I think realistically, if ALR would just say, I don't want to be skinny. I don't give a crap about losing weight. I want to do what I want to do. You guys can deal with it or you can leave. If she would just do that, all of it would stop. All the foolishness would stop. She would still obviously have people in her, in her comments, leaving her comments, telling her she's fat and she's going to die and whatever. But I'm sure they would probably be few. But I think too that Amber enjoys the attention just like Foodie does. And negative attention is always attention either way. So she's getting what she wants. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I don't know if you guys, if any of those of y'all that are here that actually got to see the last video that I posted. And stop the lies people watch because they know hairline train wrecks. Exactly. Exactly. It is exactly that. It is a train wreck. It is a car accident on the highway. I don't want to look, but I can't look away. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't really matter exactly how bad things might be for me in the moment. Guaranteed, without fail, I can turn on Foodie or I can turn on ALR, and by comparison, my life looks freaking outstanding. I'm not morbidly obese anymore. I can get up and do whatever I want, whenever I want, without having difficulty breathing. I don't have to make a total fool out of myself to pay my bills. I have relationships that are not purely indicative of being online. I can turn this off, and when I turn this off at the end of the stream, I go on about my life. Whether I come back on tomorrow, I upload tomorrow, or if I don't upload again for a week or come back on live again for a week, it doesn't change. Being online doesn't change anything for me, whereas it does for them. Exactly. The only difference is, I think, for me is that, there's a higher negative connotation involved with it versus where it was back in the Barnum Bailey circus days. Back then they were an oddity. People were fascinated. People wanted to know more about them, and people wanted to kind of have them around because of how unusual they are. But now it is such a commonplace sort of thing, including their behaviors that are associated with them, sadly, that it doesn't make them special despite how much they think it does. Girl, it is, that's the deal. That's the thing, girl. I'm going to be real with you. When I started doing videos, it was literally me just sitting on the couch, having conversations with my cell phone. but the more I've done it, I have gained more tools to try to help make the process easier. But I'm running around and doing stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not going to record this. Like if I go to at Lowe's or Home Depot, the people at Home Depot should know me by name right now. I mean, I go in there that much. But I'm not about to carry my phone and video my entire trip to Home Depot, because why would anybody care? I mean, the stuff that I do stay limited to, like giving an educated perspective on the things that I'm seeing from these ladies, that is something that thankfully I can do, that may interest people and may help people understand things a little bit more in depth. But me living my day-to-day life, I know is not really that interesting to anybody out there. Especially, let's see. Exactly. I'm just having fun. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It absolutely is cathartic, just venting. But some of the new stuff that I've started doing and that I'm going to have coming up is stuff that, you guys, the people out there, you and Miss Jennifer, I am 100% glad that Cowboy Dog led you here. And I'm so glad that you enjoyed that video. I was really kind of struck. I watched one of Cowboy Dog's videos. I didn't realize Cowboy Dog was a chick. As soon as she started talking, I was like, wait, what? For some reason in my mind, I thought Cowboy Dog was a dude. So that just kind of caught me off guard. But prime example, though, of something of like trying to not do average day-to-day stuff and showing that sort of stuff on my channel. I don't know if any of you guys saw this last video I did where I did glass blowing. If you did, hit me with a 1 in the chat so that I know if you did happen to take a look. Ooh, I ain't seen a single one yet. Holy smokes. Okay. I'm sure. I appreciate your life experience related to these girls. Well, I appreciate that. It's nice to know that there is something that I may be able to share that may actually give others a better understanding of what they're seeing. And I really feel like at this point, I don't really have too much else to offer aside from that may actually entertain people. It's kind of like asking about like the glass blowing thing. Let me show you guys real quick because I have them behind me. So I went to, and I put a whole video up on it, breaking everything down and all that stuff. I went to a class to learn how to make blown glass. Now I went to make this singular bowl. There was a problem in the process that resulted in a hole in the middle of it, which was unfortunately at the behest of the instructor. So I ended up making a second one with his encouragement, because I was more than willing to take my little cattywampus bowl here and make a new one, which had more of an actual solid and flat base on it. If you guys have never actually tried blowing, glass blowing, it's actually very fun. It's very hot, but it's very fun. You get to learn all kind of interesting stuff. I'm at that stage in my life where, especially now that I've lost my mom, I am more of the finding a work-life balance. I spent a lot of time from the age of 14 on. I always had more than one job at a time without fail. During COVID, from the onset of COVID and people falling off from doing bedside care, I literally worked 3 jobs from the start up until the point that my mom died, which was about 2.5 years, and ran myself half to death. Extremely tired. So now that I'm on the other side of that and my mom is gone, it's kind of realigned my priorities and my perspectives on things. And I'm of the thought process that I should be able to, and I absolutely want to, try to make an effort to enjoy my life while my health is still good. I don't want to wait until I'm 65 years old and I've got all sorts of God knows what going on, trying to go out and do the things that I want to do, and I physically can't. Class one would be interesting. I make jewelry when I can. I actually do a little bit of that too. Girl, I got all kind of hobbies that I just kind of pick at, and you know, oh, you're a lurker, aren't you? That's okay though. Well, I mean, obviously, but you know, yes, 100%. That's exactly the point that I'm making, you know, and my mom was actually like the most important person in my life. And I'm very much like her in the regard that she gave a lot of her time and her energy away to other people and taking care of others. And she had her plans, but she unfortunately never got to follow through on them because of what happened. I don't want the end to get here and me be at the point where I'm ready to cross over, you know what I'm saying? And look back on everything and say, God, wow, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done that. Or I wish I'd went there and seen that. I wish I'd had that conversation. I don't want to live with regrets anymore. I don't want to live in fear of doing anything anymore. Thank you, Jennifer. It's been very difficult. See, and I'm like that with my dad. Me and my dad are just kind of okay. We can deal. I mean, we don't have the greatest relationship and never really have had. My dad is really more, he is more partial to my brother, my younger brother. So it is what it is, you know, but it does make, that everything overall, the grieving process changes you and the way that you view things and the way that you handle things. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I used to be one of those people that I would be like my mom and that I would say, oh, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do it this point. And now I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do it this week. I have gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm not waiting no more. I'm fixing to go try everything. Even if I try it just once, just so I can say that I've done it or see if it's something that I really like to do and if I want to continue doing it. I mean, there's really no point in putting it off anymore because, I mean, I said to somebody in the comments not long ago because they were talking to me about their mom and their health. And I said, you need to make it abundantly clear to her that time is not promised to anybody. And that if she's going to make a change and she's going to have the life that she wants, it's got to start right now. And that is the way that I'm looking at this. I am building the life that I want from right now. Which is especially hard to say because the life that I always wanted had my mom in it. You know, I had this life of me and her being old ass ladies together. And unfortunately, that just did not work out that way. So I'm having to kind of reevaluate and change and rebuild myself into a life that makes sense for me from this point on. Yes, that's very true. I could see that. I could see that. Makes perfect sense. Right. Well, I mean, my mom was the kind of person that, okay, my mom was very much a dog person. I'm really not I agree. I get told quite a bit that I act just like her and I talk just like her and that I look just like her, that I'm just a foot taller. Um, my mom was very much a dog person um, because she developed allergies to cats. Even though we had cats, as me being a child, she developed a really bad allergy to them. I mean, like her eyeballs would swell shut, type of a thing. Um, so she became an adamant dog person. And she had a thing for miniature schnauzers. I know, I'm pretty sure you guys probably know what those are. Um, she would get them from rescues, and every time one would pass away, and she took care of them. She spoiled the ever loving snot out of them. Them dogs ate better, were better taken care of than the average human will ever get to experience. Very, very spoiled animals. Um, there was one that her and my dad both loved, and a lot of purebred animals, they have health problems because of being purebred animals. And his name was Timmy. Timmy passed away, and my mom and my dad went out in the yard to lay him to rest because they have a whole little section on their property that is just for the animals. And my mom looked at my dad as they were sitting there crying, and she said, "Well," she said, "we're going to have to get on with this." She says, "because there ain't room enough in that hole for both of us." And that was just the kind of person that she was. She was one of those kinds of people that, and I said it when I spoke at her memorial, she was one of those kinds of people that she did not let the loss break her. She simply integrated it and made it a part of who she was and how she moved forward with her life. Mainly because she went through a lot. She lost both her parents at a very young age. So, I could see as somebody now who's lost her in the process, I completely understand now everything that she used to say and the different things that she used to do. It gives me a whole new perspective on her as a person. Now that I'm on the other side of it. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. And during that time frame, I mean, you're talking about in the 60s and the 70s when that happened, so kids add to it. They were very grown, even back then, they were roaming around all over God and all over the place, getting into all kinds of crazy stuff, so, yeah, that's an era of history of life that I will never be able to fully understand, no matter how much I get to know them or, the things that they've been through. Yeah. Riding in cars with strangers. Hey, can you give me a ride to the river? People you've never laid eyes on before, but you get in their vehicle freely. It is beyond crazy to me. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, and just for anybody that happens to be watching right now or anybody who's watching later, I am vaping. I'm in a room by myself. Little mama has went out to roam the house and terrorize her brother. This is the only bad habit that I've got left. So sorry about that. I grew up through the stories of G-Paw hopping trains. I know, right? Right. Isn't that insane? That is beyond cray-cray. I just could not even imagine. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, I'm a Gen Xer, and we used to do some of the same stuff. I mean, like we would ride bicycles all over town from like first thing we got up in the morning until not long before sunset. I mean, mom and dad did not want us in the house at all if they could avoid it, especially my mom, because at the time, especially when I was younger, she was working night shift back in the day. So you didn't come in that house unless you were missing a limb. Otherwise, you were going to hear about it. So yeah, we would go cuckoo crazy. We were doing all kinds of stuff we wasn't supposed to be doing. I'm surprised that a lot of Gen Xers actually live to full grown adults with all the stuff that we got into. But nowadays, never. I am as well. 78 lash kick. Yeah, man. See, you get it then. Totally get it. See, I was born in 79, and I actually came into it where by the time I was 10, I was doing my own laundry, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was helping my younger brother with his homework. I mean, it was just out there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a lot of them that didn't, but like Kurt Cobain situation, there's something about that whole situation that just did not quite sit right with me. I'm gonna say it. I think Courtney had something to do with it. Yeah, girl, me too. Add on top of it, it was really hard not to, because my brother, um, I mean, my brother's a very smart kid, but he's never been formally diagnosed, but we are very, very certain that he is somewhere on spectrum. He has a lot of neurodivergent kind of tendencies. And he didn't really learn to talk until he was like 4. And it took a lot of speech therapy and work to get him to that point. Oh, no question about that. I mean, mind you, some of it back then, the whole crazy thing was because she was on drugs, but since she's quit, I think she's quit. If she has, I'm glad for her, but she's gotten very chill. She's gotten very mellow over time. What is that? Ha 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 ha. Okay. So, okay. Y'all gonna love this. I signed up to work tonight. I signed up at the beginning of the month to work tonight. The scheduling lady spoke to me, not yesterday, but the day before, and told me that I would not be needed tonight because their patient census, their total patient admissions in the building was too low for me to come in. This was my boss texting me, asking me, hey, can you come into work 11 to 7 tonight? I'm fixing to not answer it. It's going to stay exactly the way it is. It's going to show up as unread until tomorrow because I am. I know that it makes me sound like a butthole, but I have had. Well, yeah, I have too. But the part about it that kind of is tap dancing on my nerve is that they are bumping me for people who do crap like that call out. And then they turn around and they expect me to come in because they are relying on people who are not reliable. I mean, it's like you're punishing me because you're an idiot and you won't deal with the fact that you're letting this crazy person run the asylum. Exactly. And it's going to sound like I'm bitching, and I kind of sort of am, but this has been kind of an ongoing thing over the last few weeks where that's happened multiple times. Well, I mean, ideally at this point, with all the hours, remember worked 3 jobs all the way through COVID. I mean, there was a point there for probably about 9 months or so where I didn't have a day off. I literally went from one job to the next job to the next job each day. Between that and me selling my other house before I moved in here, um, I mean, I'm only working part time. I mean, I'm literally signing up for two days a week, Saturdays and Sundays, which are usually the hardest days to fill in on, for the most part. Or every now and then I'll sign up for like a Monday or a Thursday or whatever. But this keeps being a recurring thing where they keep telling me, we don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need you. Well, you better figure it out, because every time this crap happens, who's the first person you're texting? Me. Maybe you need to reevaluate letting that other person stay in on the schedule and bumping me. Oh, girl, don't let nothing do you like that. There is nothing in this world that is worth giving up your mental health for at all. And that's where I'm at with this job. I'm not fixing to let them people steal my Jesus. Like I said, that thing is just going to stay on unread until tomorrow and be like, sorry, I was already asleep when you texted me. Because why am I going to go out of my way to help you when you're not willing to meet me in the middle? Well, I mean, that's completely understandable. Completely understandable, I can't fault you that, not one iota. Sometimes it is just, things just kind of snowball, and it does get to be a lot to bear. But, realistically, you've got to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to take the time to fill your cup up. You got to take care of you. The saying, the old saying, you put your mask on before you put on somebody else's. Yes. Hi. You snuck back in here. My little furry ninja. My little ninja kitty. Little ninja kitty. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What you doing? Okay, so I'll tell you, I already found out and recovering amazingly. That's great news. Great news. A lot of times, that's part of what kind of leads us astray, is the fact that we don't have, some sort of faith in something in our lives that, and it does create it does kind of make us lost, so that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And you're going to keep on recovering amazingly. I got faith in that. We're going to claim it right now. Okay, so from what I gather here, Skinny Queen is supposed to be going live at 10, so I'm not going to probably keep you guys too much past, because I imagine that, some of you guys are probably going to want to go sit in on that, because she's always got a bunch of people. And right now it's just me and the few of y'all that are just kind of chit-chatting with each other. Yes, agree. So what I'm going to do, is I figure we'll chit-chat for a few more minutes, and then I will let you guys go so that you guys can go check in on Skinny Queen. Oh, look, and now that I'm fixing to kick off of here, there's more people. There's a couple more people who's come in. Where were y'all earlier? Come on now. Y'all cray. Lord have mercy. You're so sweet. For those of you that are still here, does anybody have any other questions or anything that you want to talk about while we're together? Before I let you all go so you guys can catch up with Skinny Queen. Trust, I'm going to do that either way, whether I hang on for another few minutes or not. I said I ain't letting them people steal my Jesus. I'm just not doing it. You are asking me to come to work to work 11 to 7 with less than 2 hours notification. I'm glad you did too. I mean, I try to kind of schedule things in such a way that it kind of makes it easier for everybody because, you know, there's been a couple of times where I've tried to catch people and then I just end up missing it altogether, even with notifications, because I don't know about you guys, but the quote unquote notifications, it comes to email and not actually to your phone, which doesn't make any sense to me for some reason. I don't know. I haven't seen her in a little minute. Hang on a second. Let me backtrack and see if she said if she was going anywhere. I think she said she was going to be doing chores. I could have just misread that. I don't see it where she said she was leaving. She may still be, but she hasn't said anything in a little bit. Uh-oh. Well, I mean, I've put you up on screen and I'm sure she'll probably catch up or probably do like a review on this later. So that is, I am 100% behind that. And I am absolutely with you on that Grateful Life. Best of luck on the procedure, but I think you're going to come through okay. Just remember, ask a lot of questions, get a lot of details, learn as much as you can while you're talking to your doctor to kind of help give you that best foot forward on the recovery process. And I look forward to hearing the great news on how well you're doing. I'm new. I found you. Pretty Bitty Health Stream. It was very interesting and informative. Thank you. Well, you know, I try. I mean, I was kind of really hoping to hopefully get, like, I was really kind of hoping to get Hannibal back on with me. And that's kind of why I tagged him, because, you know, Hannibal's actually a very entertaining guy, and being able to just kind of have a back and forth with him kind of makes things interesting. But I'm guessing he had something going on. So unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. But I'm really glad you think so. I appreciate that you're coming by to hang out with me. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming by. You know, I don't know when I'll do the next live stream. I'm going to have to kind of figure things out. But if you're not already subscribed to me, if you want to, I'm going to have video uploads. I usually do kind of, the live streaming thing is very new to me. I'm still kind of trying to figure things out and get accustomed to it. But I'm always doing a little bit of something. So if you want to kind of stick around with us and hang out and kind of see what all happens from here, you're more than welcome to. I will not, I wouldn't throw you out with the bathwater. I guarantee that. It's funny, they're big channels. I just listen, but you don't have many people, and it's fun to interact when I can. Hey, I don't fault you that. And I mean, and I'm 100% down for it, especially since, like you said, I mean, I am very small channel. I think I just broke 300 subs, I think like yesterday, I think. And the way I figure it, I think for right now, taking advantage of being able to have one-to-one conversation and everything with you guys, and actually getting to have a little fun versus, I mean, somebody like Yaba or FFG or Charlie Gold or somebody like that who has like a couple thousands of people in their chat, where they have so many people talking at once that you really kind of are limited in how interactive you can be. I think I prefer the setup that I'm in right now. The other thing too, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm comparing, because I'm not. I mean, I will never be a Yaba or a FFG or a Charlie. I don't really think, well, I'll rephrase. I don't really think I'm that funny. Although I have had people tell me that I am. It's usually that when I'm not trying to be. And with, the other part of the whole girl world success thing, I don't really do a lot of the dog walking. I mean, I simply say what I think, and I'm very matter of fact, and that's just kind of how it is with me. So, I mean, I guess I'll just kind of roll with it. The Fitty Bitty Mouse is going around, and I even brought it up to a channel because it was so informative. And, well, I thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, ideally, I would take like you guys thinking that it's informative and saying that you've learned something from it and passing it along that way than actually having a channel that's built on dog walking somebody. To me, it's just, I mean, it's entertaining, yes, but it's just really not my style. Thank you, Jennifer. You are awesome. I started reviewing Jen, but just to learn from her mistakes and what went wrong. Well, Jen has a lot of the same problems that the other girls in Girl World have, and that's a lack of accountability, and nothing is ever their fault. Instead of acknowledging, hey, what I'm doing is not working for me. I need help. I need outside help. They are, and it's Jen, it's Foodie, it's ALR. They are all in that mindset of, I can take care of this myself. I don't need help, and nobody knows how to do this better than I do, when there is no such thing. And I say that as somebody who has had, like I said, disordered eating behaviors. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've had weight loss surgery. I've been there in a lot of the circumstances that they find themselves in. So, I mean, I see it from their perspective to an extent, but the difference is I actually said to myself on multiple occasions throughout this, where I was just like, I can't do this on my own. What I'm doing is not working. I've got to do something different, and I got to find somebody that can help me. That's the difference. I mean, I think with people like me, and with people like you, there is actually more clarity of thought and foresight involved, whereas these girls were living with blinders on. It didn't seem like dog walking to me versus your observation, which is very interesting. Right. Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, I am capable of dog walking people, and I have done it before. But it is just generally not my nature, because, I just don't see the point. It doesn't do any good trying to dog walk somebody. I mean, instead of just saying matter of factly what you need to hear, more than likely, you're actually going to, the shock of having facts issued at a very blunt, sort of method is probably going to actually have more impact than dog walking somebody and telling them they're a fat bitch. You know what I'm saying? More curious because of Gene and what happened there. Well, from what I gathered, Gene has his own individual set of problems. He was actually an active alcoholic. And from what I gathered, based on the little bit of observations that I saw, there was a lot of, he placated her and met her addiction needs so that he could meet his. And, but exactly, she had medical help and a loving partner. Well, I don't know if I would entirely call Jean loving. I think that the relationship between the two was exactly the fact that, yes, that they were enabling each other. Maybe at the beginning there was love there, but I think over time it just kind of went into a state of symbiosis where they each were doing what they could to have their own needs met in the circumstances. I think your video. Which video? We talking about foodie or ALR? Because I didn't do one on Jen. Miss Jen had already passed away before I got online. I've done a couple foodie beauty ones, but I think I know which one you're talking about, though. Well, I mean, ideally, I honestly think that with Foodie and her health status, I don't think it's really going to matter what anybody says to her. I mean, she doesn't even listen to her doctors when they tell her, you have this problem. This is what you have to do to keep yourself at some sort of a state of generalized health, generalized decent health. I mean, she doesn't listen. You can't tell her anything. She's one of those people. It may have, but it doesn't take long. She's very defiant. She's one of those ones where you're not going to tell me what I should do, and I'm going to show you. She's the equivalent. She is literally a full-grown toddler saying, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do what I want to do. I think it was the last one to talk about the physical observations. Well, I had two. One where I actually covered all the symptoms that she was exhibiting that correlated with the diagnoses, meaning end stage progression of her pulmonary edema and her diabetes. But I also added to it with the medication that belonged to Sala that she started taking, and how with her health history it could actually emphasize the symptoms that she was having and progress her disease issues even further. So I don't know. Maybe it might have given her a moment's pause, and realistically, I mean, if it did, then good. I'm hoping that maybe at some point it will it'll plant a seed to maybe eventually grow to that. I need to do something and get myself help, because otherwise I'm going to die. Otherwise she is going to end up like Jen and be literally in a state of denial all the way up until the point that she stops breathing, which is sad. I mean, I don't really like Foodie as a person. Exactly to a point. Yes. I mean, I don't really like Foodie as a person, but I do not wish ill will on anybody. I don't want to. I have people, you have those people that tell her she should die and that the world will be better off without her and stuff like that. I mean, that doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't do anything for the person that you're saying it to, other than just make them even more reactive. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to kind of hold a mirror up. Yeah, exactly. I'm holding a mirror up to them and hoping that they'll actually, when they glance, eventually they'll take a deep, long look into themselves and say, there is something wrong with me and I need help. And that doesn't necessarily, it may not necessarily work, but hey, at the very least, like you said, I tried, I made an attempt. Exactly. I mean, the people that she has in her chats right now and some of ALR's too are really not doing them any favors at all, especially Foodie, because they actually, I think honestly that her Beezers, who she claims are her ride or dies and who her undying avid supporters, I think they honestly want to see her crash and burn. Which is sad. Okay, well, my dear, my darlings, I think I'm gonna kick out of here. They nasty needs us to see her look like a fool and pass. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. And, I don't wish that on anybody. I mean, everybody's got to die at some point, but, it is entirely our decision as to whether or not we die miserable and unhappy or in pain. And I don't really wish that on anybody, at all. Yeah, me either. All right, so I'm gonna cut it loose. Miss Skinny Queen is live, and she is cutting up with a foodie stream. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of go dip in on that. I'm gonna check out your glass blowing video for Brewster. Oh, thank you, Grateful Life. I hope you enjoy it. I got to learn all kind of cool stuff, and I tried to put as much of that in the video. I broke it down step by step to kind of help explain what we were doing, what everything was, and why we were doing what we're doing. Is very interesting. If you ever get the opportunity to give it a try, I absolutely would. I will talk to you guys soon. I look forward to seeing y'all whenever we get the opportunity. You guys have a wonderful night. Those of y'all on the replay, thank y'all for coming through. Sorry we missed y'all. Y'all have a great night. Bye, y'all. Mwah. Uh-oh.